Today's video is taking these sets of nightstands, doing a quick flip for over $500 profit. Hey lovely people, welcome back. If you counted 4 nightstands, you are correct. I found these sets off Facebook Marketplace, $25 each, so that's $100 for the set. When flipping furniture, sometimes you have to remember to have fun. So here's a quick reminder as I grab my camera. If it makes you sick, don't watch. All right, I removed the hardware and shelving off the nightstands, and then I'm going to start with a cleaner using some Dawn dish soap and some warm water. Just thoroughly scrub the piece and then go back with some clean water. Afterwards, give them a rinse and let them dry. A couple of the nightstands have some damage. This is some bubbled up veneer, so let's fix that by sanding. I start with some 80 grit sandpaper, and basically I sand the bubbled areas smooth, and I just check with my hand. Once it's smooth, I go back with some 120 grit sandpaper and sand it even more smooth. This leg is completely cracked off towards the bottom, so we can fix that. I did this in my last video. I'm going to make a mold of a good leg using hot glue. The process is really simple. Add a thick coat of hot glue. Make sure it expands over the damaged area that you need to make a mold of. Let the glue dry, peel it up. If you are new to my channel, I take old, damaged, outdated pieces of furniture, repair them, give them a new look, update them, and give them a second chance at life. So if you're into that stuff, go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. All right, I mixed up some Bondo to fill my hot glue mold that I made, put it into place, tape it down, let the Bondo dry, and then peel the tape and the mold off, and then it's ready to sand out the imperfections. I do want to take a moment and thank Elaine Frank for buying me some coffees through my Buy Me a Coffee link down below in the description. Your support of my channel is greatly appreciated. I'm using some 120 grit sandpaper here on my Surf Prep sander to clean up my Bondo mold, make it look more natural part of the nightstands. And then I scuff sand the entire surface with some 120 grit sandpaper to get it ready to prime. Scuff sanding isn't necessarily meaning to take off the previous finish. You're just making tiny little scuff marks in the surface to give your primer some grit or tooth to hold onto. I know a lot of chalk paints claim that you don't have to scuff sand or prime, but 99% of the time I still do these steps because I want to make a lasting piece. After all the sanding is done, I do wipe away the dust residue with a damp, lint-free cloth and then let the surface air dry. My local Home Depot was out of flat black primer, so I'm using a paint and primer in one to add some primer to 2 of the nightstands. So 2 I'm going to do black and 2 I'm going to do with gray primer. Today's video is about flipping for a quick profit. My first tip of advice to achieve that is to get multiple pieces and line them up basically down like an assembly line. Run down 3 or 4 pieces, take off all the hardware, clean them all, sand them all, prime them all for quicker steps. Now, for the one that I had to sand the bubble away, I am going to seal this MDF with some shellac first before I prime it, so the water-based product that I use will not cause that MDF to bubble up again. I did 2 coats of primer on the gray and 2 coats of primer for the black nightstands. This is where the gray ones are at, and then here is where we're at with the 2 black nightstands. And then next I went down my assembly line I have set up and lightly sanded with a 220 grit sanding sponge, wiped away the dust residue to get ready to paint. One set of nightstands, I'm using Wet Owl's 1 Hour Enamel in the jet black. This is one of my all-time favorite black paints to use. I do water it down just a little bit to thin it out to spray smoothly through my sprayer. My canister lids have a filter in them, so I don't have to filter my paint which is one of the things I love about this gun. So let's talk about proper PPE for spraying. I use earplugs in my ears because I use an air compressor that's loud. Make sure my hair is covered because I have dreadlocks. And then you wear a proper fitting ventilator mask so you don't breathe in paint particles. I attach my gun to the air hose, let the pressure build up to about 90 to 100 marker, and then I test spray on cardboard before I ever spray my piece of furniture. When I have end tables and nightstands like this that I'm spraying the inside, I do prefer to spray the inside first, and then I'll close the cabinet doors and then spray the entire outside. For each set of nightstands, I do 3 coats of paint, letting the paint dry a couple hours in between each coat. I love it. It looks like glass right there. Now for the other set of nightstands, I am going with a gray color. Another thing I love about my gun, it makes spraying so much faster, is I can take out my cup and liner and just put in a new one, and I'm ready to start spraying a different color just right away. This is Melange Junket. It is a much thicker paint than the Wise Owl 1 Hour enamel, so I do water this down quite a bit more to thin it out enough to spray through my gun. Did you notice that I did 1 set of the nightstands black and 1 set gray? And that is my next tip of advice, is to go neutral with your colors. Yes, green is fun. Yes, hot pink is fun. But black, white, gray, neutral colors like beige and cream are what sells quick. So if you need a quick sell, go neutral, neutral, neutral. While I wait in between coats of paint to dry, I work on the handles. I'm just using some Dawn dish soap and some warm water to scrub them, rinse them, let them air dry. After the handles were dry, I scuff sanded them with a 220 grit sanding sponge and then wiped the dust away with a clean cloth. Rust-Oleum is my preferred brand of spray paint, and I am spraying 1 set of handles black and the other in my metallic gold that I love to use. You've seen me use this 100 times on my channel. I do a couple coats on both sides and let the handles dry. I'm using an 800 grit sanding sponge here to sand the final coat of paint smooth and wipe the dust away before top coat. For the gray nightstands, I started with this. This is the brand that I use. It's the Verithanes polyurethane water-based. I tried it in a can for the first coat, and it just ended up streaky. So I switched to my preferred method, which is in a can that I water down a little bit myself and spray through my sprayer. The reason why I was trying this spray can is just stock. I was running out of the stuff I have in the can to spray through my sprayer, so I thought I would try one of their spray cans, and I wasn't happy with it. Now for the black set, black is a hard color to top coat, so I do add a little bit of the enamel paint into the top coat so I don't get streaks when I spray. I do 3 coats of top coat on both the sets of the nightstand for maximum protection. And another side note, when you're putting top coat on dark colors, it will look milky at first, but dries crystal clear. To protect the knobs, I'm using Rust-Oleum's clear. I like the matte finish, and I do a couple coats of that. I put the handles back on the nightstands, and then they are done. This is a quick reminder of what the 4 nightstands look like whenever we started. And here is our after. Each set of these sold for $350 within a week of being posted. So I got $700 for them. It was $100 originally for all 4 nightstands. I spent $65 on supplies, so that is a profit of $535, and I worked 2 half days on these, so 1 whole day total. All right, so how to flip furniture for a quick profit. Number 1, get multiple pieces. Number 2, set them up like an assembly line. Boom, boom, boom. Each step, go down the line. Number 3, when you pick colors, make sure you pick neutral colors. They sell so much faster. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope that you found it useful. I will pop up a couple videos of my favorite flips here for you to watch. That's all I have for you today. Until next time.